Let us talk about frequency distribution. When we say frequency distribution, this is a collection of observations. Let's say we have the scores. Then we are going to sort them into classes, showing their frequencies of occurrences in each class. That's the meaning of frequency distribution. We are going to make different categories of the different observed data or scores. We are going to present their frequencies of occurrences in a given data set. So let us try to prepare a frequency distribution using the following scores. We are going to make a distribution table. So here, as you can see, we have 81, 78, 90, 72, 90 until 54. There are 25 scores all in all. Now, to prepare a frequency distribution table, what are the steps that should be followed? To determine, let's say, the steps, of course, first, we are going to identify your highest and lowest scores in your given data set. That is the most important factor or step that should be considered. You need to identify first what's the highest score and what is the lowest score. In our given example, I colored this number using green. And this is our highest score, okay? Then, our lowest score, I use color blue. Our highest score is 91 and our lowest score is 43. So that's the first step. Then we are going to find out the range. The range is determined by subtracting the highest score and the lowest score. In our example, our highest score is 91 and our lowest score is 43. So getting the difference, this will result to 48. Okay? Then next, we are going to find out the class width. The class width is also known as the class interval. And we have the formula in determining the class width. We have, this is the quotient or the ratio of the range and classes. Classes is arbitrary, which means to say that you can use, let's say, from a range of 5 until 20 as the maximum. If you want, let's say, a bigger class width, then you will be using a smaller class. And if you want to use a bigger class, then that means to say that you will be getting a smaller class width. They are inversely proportional. Okay? So here, I'll repeat, classes ranges from 5 to 20. So that's the range of classes. But I, the most ideal is using 10. So in your exam, for example, if you're going to take it up, please use 10 as your class. In our example here, let us try to find out our class width. So our class width is determined by getting the quotient of the range and the class that you want to use. Remember, the class is arbitrarily selected. But as what I told you, 10 is the most ideal. 10 as the class. So here our range is 48. Then this will be divided by 10. Okay? So this will be divided by 10. Definitely, the quotient now will be resulting to 4.8. That's the result, 4.8. And we are going to round it off. This is equal to 5. Okay? So now, our class width is equal to 5. Now, going back to our given scores, okay, trying to look at our given scores, our lowest score is 43, take note, and our class width is 5. Do you think our lowest score, which is 43, is divisible by 5? It's not divisible by 5, okay? That means to say that we are going to adjust. We are going to adjust this score present in your given data set, wherein 43 will still be included as one of the frequencies later on. So what are we going to use? Are we going to adjust 43, adjusting it below, and we'll be getting 40? Or we will be using 45? Your 43 will be adjusted going to 45, or it will be adjusted from 43 going to 40. You have to consider that your initial class width should always be considered. So from that, we will be getting our class limit. So what do you think? Are we going to use 40 or 45? We are going to use 40. So we are going to adjust it uh, below. So our class limit, our first class limit now is equal to 40. 40 to 44. Why 40 to 44? Simply because our class width is equal to 5, correct? It's equal to 5. And yet, we need to consider that our lower boundary, our lowest score should be divisible by 5. Okay, I'll put it here so that it would be easier for us to tally. Okay, so taking a look at it, we have 40 to 44. This means to say that there are 5 scores. Why 5 scores? You might be asking me, sir, there are only 4 scores from 40 to 44. No, there are 5 scores. Why? 40 is 1 score, 41 is 1 score, 43 is 1 score again, 44 it's again another score. So 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. So there are 5. And that 5 is now the class interval. That is known to be your class width. Okay? Then we are going to continue this. We're going to continue. So from 40 to 44, what do you think is the next? The next would be 45 to 49. Okay? Then followed by 54 to 59. Then this will be followed by, what do you think? This will be followed by, and this is supposed to be 50. This is supposed to be 50, and this is 54. I was so excited. Then next we have 55 to 59. Then after that, we have 60 to 64. Then we have 65 to 69. You need to be very cautious because one mistake here, it would be very terrible. So you need to be very vigilant and be very precise in doing your outputs, particularly in obtaining your class limits. Then we have 75 to 79. Then we have here 80 to 84. Then next we have 85 to 89. Then next we have 90 to 94. Okay, so we have here our frequency distribution table getting only the class limits. Okay, again, how did we get the class limits? First, you are going to find out the range, getting the difference between the highest and the lowest score. Then after getting the range, you are going to divide that by the class that you want to use. Remember, the class that will be used will depend from you. If you want to use 5, then that means to say that your your class is very small, you want that your class limit will become bigger. But if your class is quite big, then your class limit would become very small. So they are both inversely proportional. So here, as you notice, 40 to 44, there are 5 scores. That is our class width. Remember that your class width from 40 to 44 should always be the same. If you are going to notice this is the side from 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. All of these scores are known to be your lower limit. Okay? This side. This side is known as your lower limit, and this side from 44 down to 94, 44, 49, 54, and so on and so forth until you reach 94, that's known to be your upper limit. Okay, then next, how about getting the class boundaries? The class boundaries, these are also known as your exact lower limits. Okay, exact lower limits. How do we get the exact lower limits of these? We just have to deduct your upper and your lower limit, especially your lower limit by 0.5. And you add 0.5 to all your upper limits. Okay, so here 40 minus 0.5, we have 39.5. Then this will range to 44.5. Okay, so that's how it works. Wait, remember as uh, that your class boundary will only be obtained from your class limit. It will be taken from your class limit. Okay, then next we have here, what do you think is our the class boundaries of the class limit 45 to 49? We have 44.5 to 49.5. Okay, then next we have 49.5 to 54.5. Then next we have here 54.5 to, we have 59.5. 9.5. Then we have 59.5 to 64.5. Then you're going to follow the same process. We have 64.5. Then this will range to 69.5. Then followed by, we have 69.5. Then we have 74.5. Then next we have 74.5 to, we have 79.5. Then we have 79.5, we will be getting 84.5. Okay, then after which the next is 84.5 to 89.5, and lastly we have here 89.5 to 94.5. As you can see, it follows a pattern. Okay, there is a pattern here. If you are going to be very mindful about the different scores here, they follow a pattern. Try to look at our first column, the column of your class limit. Looking at 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, down to your 90, all these scores are known to be your lower limit or lower boundary. Then 44, 49, 54, 59, 64, 69 down to 94, all of these scores are known to be your upper limit or your upper boundary. Yet, as you can see, they follow the same pattern. As you move down, just just add 5. And that 5 is known to be your class width. So 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 until you reach 90. So with 44, you also need to add 5. So 44 plus 5, 49 plus 5 until reaching 94. That is also true with your class boundaries. So you simply need to add plus 5 from your exact lower limit. Then you also need to add 5 to your exact upper limit. Then you will be getting the class boundaries of each of the different class limits. Okay? So next, we are going to find out the midpoint. So to find out the midpoint of this class limit has a midpoint of 42. Why 42? Because you just need to add the lower limit, which is 40, and the upper limit, which is 44. 40 plus 44 is 84, divided by 2 is equal to 42, right? It's equal to 42. So again, to find out your class midpoint, what you need to do is simply you get the average of your different class limits. Okay, then add your lower limit and your upper limit, then you will be getting here your class midpoint, which is 42. And the midpoint of 45 to 49, we have 45 plus 49, that is equal to 94, divided by 2, because you are getting the average, that would be equal to 47. Then 50 to 54, the same process, you need to add your upper and your lower limits, you divide it by 2. So 50 plus 54 is 104 divided by 2, then we will be getting 52. As you see, the difference from 42 to 47 and 47 to 52 is also equal to 5. So just add the 5 if you want to have a fast way of getting the class midpoint. So the midpoint of 55 to 59 is equal to 57. 60 to 64 is 62. Then we have 67. Then we have 72. Then we have 77. Then we have 82. And we have 87. And we have the next is equal to 92. So we got all the midpoints of your different class limits. If you want to check, okay, let us try to do 90 to 94 because you might be in doubt. 90 plus 94 is 184, correct? This is 184 divided by 2, that would be equal to 92. Okay, next we are going to make now the tally. How do we use the tally? The tally is simply to find out the scores. Where will it fall? So let's tally the first one. Let's say we have 81. We are going to tally this. 81. Where can we find 81? 81 can be found here using your class limit 80 to 84. So you just have to tally. Okay? So we have 81. Then 78. 78 can be found here. So you put it here. You have to tally. Right stick. Then 90. Okay, it can be found here. So you put another stick. Remember that in tallying, you need to be very, very cautious. Okay, one mistake, it will lead to the total failure of all your solution together with your answers. Okay, then 72, it can be found here from your class limit 70 to 74. So you put again in the stick. Then we have 90, another 90. Then you're going to put here another line or stick. Then next we have 50. So 50 is falling here with your class limit 50 to 54. Okay, so you put another one. Then we have 72. 72, it follows here from 70 to 74 as your class limit. Okay, then we have 91. 91 is falling here. Then 88, it falls here. Then we have 65. 65 is falling here. Then next, we are going to use now the third row, 70. 70 is found here from 70 to 74. Okay, then we have 81. 81 falls here from 80 to 84. Okay, you put another stick, so 81. Then 79 is found at 75 to 79. Then 68. 68, it can be found here, 65 to 69. Okay, then 77, it can be found here, 75 to 79. So you put another stick. Then we have 67. 67 is located here from 65 to 69. Okay, so you put it here. So that's 67. Let us try to minimize the scores. Okay, so we have 67. I just put it there. Then we have 80. 80 is placed here. Then we have 62. We have 62. 62 is placed here. Then next we have the lowest score, which is 43. It is found here. Then we have 84. 84 is, okay, found here. Then we have the next, the fifth row, we have 89. 89 is again to be placed here. Then we have 73. 73 is to be placed here from 70 to 74. Then we have 75. 75 is to be placed at 75 to 79. Then we have 54. Then we have 54. It will be placed at 50 to 54. Then we got another 54. So that will be put here at 50 to 54. Okay. So once we are done, you have to take note, okay? There are 25 scores. If you are going to add all of this, you will lead to your n. Your n must be equal to the total number of scores if you are going to add this. So let us add them. So 1 plus 3, we have 4. Plus 1, that's 5. Plus 3, 8. Plus, this is equal to, plus 4, it's 12. Plus 4, that's 16. Plus 4, that's 20. Plus 2, that's 22. And plus 3, that would be equal to 25. So here in your frequency, you are just going to count how many tallies are present in the different class limits. So at 40 to 44, we only have one frequency. Here, there is no frequency. That means to say that there are no scores ranging from 45 to 49. So you mark it 0. Then here we have 3. Then at class limit 55 to 59, there are also no scores. So you have to put it 0. Then here we have 1. Then followed by 3. Then again we have here, we have 4. We have 4. Then we have 4, we have 2, and we have 3. If you are going to add all of this, it is just the same as the number of tallies present in your tally column. This would also be resulting to 25. Okay? So 1 plus 0 is 1 plus 3, that's 4 plus 0, that's 4 plus 1, 5, 8, 12, 16, 20, 22, 25. Then we have here now your cumulative frequency. When we say cumulative frequency, this is getting the sum of different tallies or frequencies starting from your given class limit. So here, if we are going to find out your cumulative frequency based from this given distribution, we are going to start at your initial class limit from 40 to 44. So we are going to use the frequency of your class limit 40 to 44. So here you put 1, okay? Then after which you are going to add your 1 by the frequency of the succeeding class limit. So the frequency of your succeeding class limit 45 to 49 its frequency is only equal to 0. So 1 plus 0, that's equal to 1, right? It's 1. Then 1 plus 3, that would be equal to 4. Then 4 plus 0, that would be equal to 4. Then 4 plus 1, that would be equal to 5. Then 5 plus 3, that's going to be equal to 8. Then 8 plus 4, that's equal to 12. Then 12 plus 4, that's equal to 16. Then 16 plus 4, that's equal to 20. Then 20 plus 2, that's equal to 22. Then lastly, 22 plus 3, that's equal to 25. If you got, let's say, your last class limit, which is jiving with your total number of cases or scores, which is equal to 25, then that would only mean one thing, that you are able to find out your cumulative frequency the right way. Remember that your cumulative frequency is also known as ogive. Ogive is spelled as this. Okay? So, this is the process in preparing a frequency table. Okay, first, to prepare a frequency table, you need to find out your range. To find out your range, we are going to find out the difference between the high score and lowest score. Then after which, we are going to find out your class width. The class width is also known as your class interval. You're going to divide the range by a specific class. As what I mentioned, your class is arbitrary, which means to say that you may use 5 until 20. It's not only 5 and 20. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, until 20. But I tell you, the most ideal in determining your class is simply to use 10. In our example here, I used 10 as our class. Then, after determining your class width, you're going to be preparing now your frequency distribution table. In your frequency distribution table, you need your class limit, your class boundaries, your class midpoints, your tally or your frequency, and cumulative frequency. Again, to find out your class limit, initial class score, you need to consider your lowest score. If it is divisible by the given class width, then you are going to use the lowest score exactly. But if it is not divisible by the obtained class width, then you need to adjust by going up or by going down. Then your class boundaries, as what I mentioned again earlier, you just have to subtract your lower limits by zero point 0.5. Then to find out your exact upper limit, you just have to add this by 5. Remember that your class boundaries, the left side, we have your numbers located at the left side. These are all your exact lower boundaries or exact lower limits. All numbers that are found at the right side, these numbers are known to be your exact upper boundaries or your exact upper limits. Then your class midpoints, simply get the average of your class limit. When we say getting the average, you add the upper and the lower limit divided by 2. Then if you tally, you're just going to sort the scores by putting a mark on the specified class limit where that particular score belongs. Then lastly, your cumulative frequency or your ogive, you start initially from your very first class limit, then use its frequency, then continue adding with the frequency of the next class limit. That's all. Thank you.